our RecyclerView here, displaying only one record. In my database, I only have that one record. So let's try adding a new record and see how it goes. So our new record, I'm going to add new document, or to generate the ID, the username. I'm going to say LAN1. Then email, I'm going to have user email lan1@gmail.com. And finally, I'm going to have user phone. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add it. We have a new record here. Let's see in our RecyclerView, we have now 2 records. So let's try adding it from the mobile. I'm going to have lan2@gmail.com. And here I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's add it. You can see a new record was added. Back to my RecyclerView, I'm having LAN2, and LAN1. As you can see, we have LAN2 here. So this is what we are going to learn how to implement with the help of Firebase UI. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to add Firebase UI dependency. So I'm going to copy this one. Then I'm going to go to my part 1 where I left it and then add this dependency. I'm going to sync the Gradle. So it's downloading some dependencies. Once that is done, I'm going to add an empty activity that we are going to add RecyclerView. So this will be activity RecyclerView. Finish. I'm going to make the RecyclerView activity the launcher activity. So I'm going to copy this one, and here I'm going to have RecyclerView activity. So let's learn and see the new changes. So I'm going to close this one and this one too. So the Gradle is learning. The app is installing. Let's see. Remember, at this point, we have only added Firebase UI and the RecyclerView activity. So we expect it not to display any data. So it's launching, and there we have an empty activity. So the other thing that I'm going to do is to add my RecyclerView here. I'm going to change this one to coordinate layout. And then I'm going to have RecyclerView. I'm going to match parent, lab content, and I'm going to give it ID of RecyclerView. Top margin, I'm going to give it 2. I'm going to create a new RecyclerView called the data. I'm going to say low users. And within it, I'm going to have card view. The height, I'm going to lab content. I'm going to have the top margin to be 9. I'm going to give it start margin 9 and end margin of 9. I'm going to give it background color, that is white. Inside it, I'm going to have linear layout, match parent, lab content, going to give it a padding of 10. Orientation, I'm going to give it vertical. Within this one, I'm going to have text view, lab content. ID, I'm going to give it TV username. Text size, I'm going to have 16. This is text size, and I'm going to give it 16. The text, I'm going to say username. This is for placeholder purposes, and then I'm going to copy this one, paste it there, and have another one. So this is user email at live.com, and finally I'm going to have user phone, and this one should be 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm going to give it padding of 10, padding of 10, and padding of 10. So the other thing that I'm going to do is to create my model class. And then I'm going to give it users model as the name. Within it, I'm going to have val username, so this will be a type of string. I'm going to have val user email type string, val user phone also type string. Then I'm going to generate an empty constructor. I'm going to create another class here, and this one will be my adapter, user adapter. And this one I'm going to extend Firebase Firestore RecyclerView adapter, and within it I'm going to give it the class that is users model, and I'm also going to give it the view holder. So I'm going to have user adapter dot user adapter view holder. I'm going to create this class, and then I'm going to extend RecyclerView dot view holder. Then back to my main activity, no sorry, back to the class itself, that's the adapter. I'm going to implement several methods here, that is on create and on bind. So I'm going to remove this one, and I'm going to add the options. So as you can see, we have added the options, that is RecyclerView, Firestore RecyclerView options, and then we have Firestore RecyclerView adapter with our model class, that is the class that has the data, and then we have our view holder. This is always an implementation in a normal RecyclerView. So then I'm going to copy this one, I like it being here below, and then within the class on create, I'm going to have return, and then we're going to return our class user adapter view holder. Within it, I'm going to have route adapter dot from, and the context is parent, dot context, and then I'm going to inflate all.layout.law users, the parent. So we are going to give it view group as the parent, and then I'm going to assign false. The view holder, as you can see, we have our model here. But before that, let's go to our user adapter view holder. And here I'm going to have val username, which is item view dot tv username. So these IDs are, we have the username, user email, and user phone. So the next one, I'm going to have var user email, and I'm going to have item view dot tv user email, and finally I'm going to have user phone item view dot tv user phone. On my byte, I'm going to have holder dot username dot text. I'm going to give it my model dot username holder dot user email dot text. I'm going to give it model dot user email, and then I'm going to have holder dot user phone dot text, and I'm going to give it model dot user phone. So that's all we need to do in our recycler in our adapter. Then back to my recyclerView activity. Here I'm going to have private val, and the first thing that I'm going to have is my database instance, that is Firestore. Which will be Firestore Firebase.get instance, and then I'm going to have private val. Then we have collection reference of type collection reference, and these I'm going to have db.correction. And our correction is users. So remember, your collection is the path. And for instance, mine is this one, users. If I have another correction, I'll just type the other correction that I want to fetch data from. Then I'm going to set up my adapter, set up my recyclerView. So here I'm going to have fun, set up recyclerView. One more thing I'm going to have is val user adapter, So inside my setup recyclerView, I'm going to have Firestore that is Firestore recycler option, of type Firestore recycler option. Then I'm going to give it my model class, which is now I'm going to assign it to Firestore recycler options dot builder. Then I'm going to give it my class, that is users model dot set query. So let me have my query here, var query of type query, which is now my correction reference. So I'm going to have query, then I'm going to have my user model class, and then I'm going to build. So let's have this one. Then I'm going to have my adapter, that is users adapter dot is equals to user adapter dot. So I'm going to add the options of Firestore Recycler options. Then I'm going to have my RecyclerView here dot layout manager, which is equals to layout manager that is linear layout manager, and the context is this RecyclerView dot options. No, now these are RecyclerView options, and the other one I'm going to set is adapter, and my it's user adapter. So that's all we need to do, and then I'm going to override on start method on start, and I'm going to have my user adapter dot start listening, and finally on destroy. Then I'm going to have my user adapter dot stop listening. Let's learn and see now what we have. So our grid is building up. The app is now installing. It's launching now. Let's see. Here we are. But remember, we don't have any record, so I'm going to add one record manually before we add it from the app. So I'm going to switch Firestore here. And then I'm going to add a new correction. I'm going to call it users document. I'm going to auto generate in the username. I'm going to have it as learn user email. I'm going to have it learn@gmail.com, and then I'm going to have user phone, and that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I'm going to save this record, and then you can see it in our Firebase Firestore tutorial. So we can try and add another record. Let's see how to generate the ID, username, and then I'm going to have the username as learn1. Then we have user email, and then we have learn1@gmail.com, and finally we have user phone, and I'm going to give it 1 2 3 4 up to 5. So let's see, there we are, we have another record of user 1. So let's see how we can be able to add these records from the mobile application. So back to my activity, that is RecyclerView. I'm going to add a fab button, that is floating action button, lab content, and I'm going to give it ID, and I'm going to call it button fab. I'm going to have it gravity, that is end, positioning of it, bottom, then I'm going to have it head. The margin, I'm going to give it 26. and then I'm going to add an image in it, that is plus image. So I'm going to have add, copy that one, and then finish. So I'm going to have source, add. Let me make this one white. So let's learn this one again and see if we have our fab button. So the app is installing. So let's wait for it to launch. There we are, we have our fab button. So the next task I'm going to show you is when you click this one, we are going to launch the add user activity, and then we are going to add a new user. So back to my RecyclerView. So we have button fab. So button fab dot set on click listener, and then I'm going to start activity. Then I'm going to have intent. I'm moving from this one to my main activity dot class Java. In my main activity, I'm going to add a new record to our Firestore. So let's learn it again. So the app is installing. Let's wait. There we are. Let's add a new record. Now I'm going to have learn2 at gmail.com, and the phone number I'm going to have is 121212. So let's see when we add it. Add. So we have a new record that was added, that is learn2. And when we go back to our RecyclerView, we can see our new record that is learn2. Let's see. It was supposed to show learn2. Let's see. Let me try to install this one again. So it is now it's installing. Let's see. Launching, showing an empty one. So I need to get back to my main activity and see what's happening. When I add a new record, we have username. Okay, the problem is now I'm adding with different. So let's have username, user email, and the user phone. Let's learn again. Let me delete that record because it's not matching the key of the other records. Delete, successful. So the app is installing. Let's see. It's now launching. So we have new activity. So we have learn one. Now this one should be 2. learn2 at gmail.com, and the phone number I'm going to have is 121212. Add. You can see a new record was added back to our activity, and then we have 3 records. You can try and add James at gmail.com. Then we have 232323. Add it, successful. There we are. We have James. So that's all, guys, for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, comment below. Give it a like, and if you're new, subscribe for more tutorials.